You're listening to The Pulse on AMI Audio. I'm Grant Hardy. Shine Foundation has delivered close to 9,000 customized Shine Dreams to young people living with severe physical disabilities across Canada, tailored to the aspirations of the dreamer. Tiffany Houston is their CEO, and she joins us now to discuss what's coming up at Shine Foundation this fall and beyond. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that Tiffany's camera angle changes a couple of times throughout the show. We had a couple technical difficulties, but thanks to Tiffany and our technical team, we were able to make some changes and carry on with the interview. Now, here's Tiffany from Shine Foundation. Tiffany, thanks so much for joining us on The Pulse.
Thanks for having me, Grant.
Do you mind reminding listeners a little bit more about what the Shine Foundation does and what inspires your work?
Absolutely. You did a great intro. I don't know if I can top that, but as you said, for over 35 years, we've empowered close to 9,000 young people between 11 to 21 living with a severe physical disability. And what we do, we provide them with a life-changing dream. So what Shine does is we inspire many of them to turn their dream into potential career opportunities, to advance their education. We let them become positive examples to others of what you can accomplish. And dreams can range anywhere from adaptive bikes or sporting equipment and wheelchair rigs, for example, for greater accessibility. We can be tech gear, for example, to become a future coder. It could be a bedroom makeover to give them more independence, or everything that we've done this year, from puppies to makeovers to staycations, you name it.
That age, 11 to 21, is especially crucial, I think, for having this opportunity. In your opinion, why did you choose that age? Why is it especially critical to have access to a service like the Shine Foundation?
Yeah, we start with 11 because at the age of 11 is really when you understand cause and effect, you understand impact. So a dream is all about impact. So if they were to choose whatever they choose, like let's say it was even just for a vacation, we still ask them why. What does that mean? So when we're doing the discovery calls, they'll tell us why they want to go on the Rocky Mountaineer because they want to experience a train. They want to experience, they'll tell us what the impact of the dream, the long term will be. And 11 is when that kind of help. Like that's the age when you understand cause and effect.
Interesting. I'm curious what I'm curious how you guys figured that out. But when I look back and think about myself, I think you're definitely right on the money there, where 11 was kind of that transition.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is that drives your work every day, really inspires you.
Absolutely. We get a chance to build up a young person and illuminate their potential. And we work with them to change their mindsets from I can't to I can. And Shine ignites their realized passions and helps them move forward. We give them an equal opportunity to experience life to its fullest. And for us, on the dream side, seeing a dream realized and seeing that smile on their face, and when that light goes off the moment that their dream is realized, it is priceless for us.
And tell me how you realize a dream. I mean, when a family, maybe a care provider connects with Shine Foundation, what is the process like for customizing an experience?
Absolutely. So we work with our referral sources, and they're the ones who guide us. They're the ones who bring the young people to us. And our referral sources know what our qualifying criteria is. So when they bring them forward to us, we then work with what I like to call my dream coaches. They'll work with each dreamer to customize. And honestly, Grant, if they can dream it and we can do it, the conversations just go on to see what's possible. They vision board. They talk about who they are as a person. We do a lot of one-on-one conversations with the dreamer to figure out what it is that will have impact.
On your website, you talk about this acronym IDEA, related to diversity and inclusion. Can you explain what that acronym is, but also why your mission is particularly crucial now in the context of 2025?
Absolutely. Well, we all know that by 2040, Canada is supposed to be without barriers. And from my experience working with our dreamers, I've really seen firsthand that accessibility is a lived reality in our community. It's not just about awareness. Shine is part of that ongoing push to make sure that accessibility is treated not like an afterthought. And we're trying to do our part with our dreamers to help create a Canada where inclusion's the default, not the exception. So IDEA is, instead of the what was usually DEI,
Mhm.
diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, we just flip the letters.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think actually a lot of those examples that you've mentioned, if we're looking at sort of the end of the age range there for dreamers, I would imagine a lot of things would focus more on career, accessible spaces, that
Yes.
kind of thing. Near the beginning, you're talking
Yep.
about kind of like, those childhood memories. But I think really being a child and not being able to sort of have the experiences that your peers are having and kind of imagine dream literally, imagine
Yes.
the
Yes.
possibilities that really kind of shuts you down. Hey, I'm curious what sort of impact you've seen for dreamers who are able to have these really cool experiences as kids.
Every honestly, Grant, no matter what their age are or who they are or what their dream has been, when I'll give you an example. I'm working on one right now with Shay, and he's a twin, and Shay is about to go away to university, and his brother is not. They were
Mhm.
both born with cerebral palsy, but Kieran had other complications during birth, so Kieran is not going to university, and this is the first time in 18 years these boys have been separated. So when we worked on the dreams with the both of them at the same time, Shay's was to have a racing chair because he is a Paralympic hopeful. And Kieran's was to have a support dog to give him that opportunity to know that Shay is kind of going on without him. And this is the first time they've been separated. So Lou, which is his support dog, is more than just a dog. It's really his ability to um, kind of start having his own life and his own support system.
Totally, it's like a crucial family member,
Yeah,
honestly, in addition to, yeah,
exactly.
providing those support.
So when we talk to mom about the two boys, they both have very different dreams, but they're both life-changing in their own ways,
uh,
which is what's so beautiful about a dream. It can be anything.
100%, absolutely. And when we're looking at that impact, obviously, it really impacts the dreamers. But I wanted to ask you
Yes.
as well about just families and also communities and how those dreams impact people beyond just the dreamer.
Well, it takes a village to raise a child, and your village is your family, your friends, your doctors, your support. And a lot of times with these guys, they're OTs, they're PTs. They're all invested in this person, and they want to see them succeed. So when the dream comes true, that smile just ripples out to some. We like to say that a dream can touch up to 100 people in their community and their networks because their teachers are a part of their world. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. The ripple effect of a dream goes further than just the individual dreamer.
Those memories, those photos, being able to say to your your class at school, whatever, that you went to
Yep.
Disneyland just like anybody else has done, that's got to like really push forward the boundaries of social inclusion and acceptance of disability as well in the community.
Yeah, we had a dreamer who he had an accident and became a paraplegic at, I believe it was 14, but all his friends are now moving on. They're taking trips, and he had nothing to talk about until his dream because we sent him to Toronto to see. He's from a smaller town. Sent him to Toronto to see his favorite hockey team, and that's what his mom said. Like now he has something to talk about. Now he has a story to tell. Now he can join in on those conversations and talk about having been to an NHL game like all of his friends, having been able to travel like all his friends. So it gave him talking points that he didn't have before, that he felt excluded from.
Yeah, really just hugely meaningful for youth. How does it make you feel when you hear some of those stories like what you've just described?
Well, I tell everybody that I get more out of what I do than I could ever give them back because every day I'm learning from my dreamers that I work closely with on everything from perseverance and courage and humility. They teach me every day. So I give them beautiful things, but I can honestly tell you I get more out of it and I'm a better person for it.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot with this, but I'm just curious, what do people think when, just sort of mainstream, when you talk about your work, what are people's reactions usually like?
They are always so interested. It's funny because my kids will always say, "Oh, mom's going to talk about what she does again," because I will talk to the person in front of me at Starbucks, behind me at Loblaws. I am so proud of what we do, and I'm so privileged to do a job that I love. People are always like, tell me more," and they want to hear, like, when I tell a story, they'll ask me when I see them again, "Oh, what happened next, and where is that dreamer now, and how did it impact them?" People are invested, and they're so excited about the work that we do.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's just getting over the fear of disability and showing people those possibilities. I think that really gets the community interested and inspired.
Yeah. And that's what we talk about, Grant, is their possibilities, is their impact, is where they are now. We don't focus on what their disability is. We focus on what the possibility is.
Very cool. And speaking of possibilities, let's get into some of the events that are coming up at Shine Foundation this summer and
Okay.
beyond. The first one is called Come to Slay. I love that name. And can you talk about when that event is taking place and what's going to be going down?
Absolutely. So Come to Slay is October 9th at Scotiabank Pond. It's a really, I participated last year and I will be participating again this year. It's a sledge hockey tournament. It's a powerful, unforgettable day that brings people together with the thrill of accessible sport. Just kind of imagine yourself at center ice, bringing accessibility and the need for it to center ice is what we say. And there are other people who have a shared interest, and they're all showing up for a cause that truly, truly matters, and that is raising money to allow young people to dream big. So it's a five-team corporate team tournament, and so your corporate team registers you, and then there's five players, and they're all tasked with raising $1,000 minimum each, and that 10,000 will then be able to grant another dream at that point.
So these are individuals, perhaps who have not ever played sledge hockey before.
Mhm.
Probably most of them haven't played before.
Yep. And we actually asked, like, there is no experience necessary. We are strapping you to a sled. We're doing a skills and drill session at the beginning to show you, and no disrespect to all my sledge hockey players out there, to show you how easy it is, but how hard it is. It's easier than you think, it's harder than it looks. Because when you see the people flying down the ice, it is harder than it looks, but it is such a fun day. And we have our dreamers come out, and each team has one of our dreamers playing on it that play sledge hockey. It is such, last year, everyone that walked away had the biggest smile, and they're like, "We'll be back."
Yeah, I was curious that you attended the event last year, as you said. What was the atmosphere like? What was it like? People trying out sledge hockey for the first time.
It was lots of chatter, lots of excitement, lots of laughter. Because when you fall over, it's a little difficult to right yourself. But we have people who come and pick you up. There was so much, just excitement, and everyone was so happy at the meals, and it's a really great day. It's a really great day to experience the need for accessible sport, and for you as an able-bodied person to see. It's an incredible day.
What was the inspiration that led to the creation of this event?
Just from other places that I've been, we've been able to show our donors and our supporters the need. And so when I started, that's why we created Come to Slay. We wanted to have a very respectful event that people could, in a very small way, experience why accessible sport is needed.
Why would you say accessible sport is needed, especially for people who have maybe not maybe not tried an accessible sport before, or even hesitate to try it? Uh,
Yeah.
what's the impact or the need that you see?
It comes down to, when I've spoken to some of the kids that we work with, like for Kingsley, it comes down to he loves the sport, and this was his way of participating. And Chad is our ambassador. Chad's an elite Olympic, or no, Chad's an elite athlete in the
Mhm.
para sport world. He has gone from doing his dream to meet the team, the Canada's sledge hockey team, to being now an elite athlete himself. It's all about team. We all want to be part of something, and that team atmosphere really just brings out a whole new world for these kids to have other people on the ice or on the basketball court or in the race world. It just gives them an opportunity to have a group of friends that understand who they are and what their goals are. Community. It all comes
Oh,
down to community.
so huge, absolutely. Can you
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about Chad and his journey?
Yes, like I said, Chad is a sledge hockey fanatic, and he's an elite athlete himself now in the parasport world. He lives with hydrocephalus, spina bifida, and type 1 diabetes. So, Chad is a complex case, but sledge hockey has been a sport that suits his outgoing personality. Chad is a character, and he has a need for speed, he likes to say, and has an incredible ability to play the sport. So, he idolized the men's team Canada ice hockey team, and at 12 he met them. That was his dream, and since then he has just propelled himself in that sport. So he's our ambassador, and he does the skills and drills, and he's just so motivating to everybody.
So, yeah, what is Chad's role as an ambassador? What will Chad be doing at the event this year?
Yeah, he plays on one of the teams, and I usually like him to be on my team because he's the best player on the ice. So I may stack my team a little bit. I'm just kidding. Um, he does all of our speaking. He does our media around the event. He's there on event day, like I said, to do the skills and drills session. Chad acts as one of our ambassadors for the province.
Who should attend the event?
It can be a corporate team of 5, or if you have a group of friends that wants to, we would just change the minimum amount that you have to fundraise from, the registration fee from your corporate. We just increase that. So it can be a team of 5 friends. It can be a team of 5 corporate.
Okay, awesome. So that's coming up this fall, and
Yes.
we'll pop your website there into the show notes.
Thank you.
So I also wanted to talk about this is a really cool one. It's called Beyond Barriers: The Dreamers Summit. Can you talk a little bit about not only when this is taking place? I believe it's this summer, but also what this event will be.
Absolutely. Summit actually is taking place next year. We're working on getting all the pieces in place, which is a pretty big feat, and we are so excited. So we used to do an event. We used to do a flight called the Dream Lift, and since COVID, we haven't been able to do that. And just the changes with a lot of stuff right now, we will return to that. So we were thinking, what is that day of yes for our kids? That day where our kids can experience a whole like independence. And so we created the summit, and what it is, it's going to provide a platform for our past and present dreamers to connect to their peers. They're going to be inspired by motivational speakers, all with lived experience. They're going to engage with employers, which are showcasing their DEI and A initiatives. There'll be post-secondary educational institutions there that are going to present what their offerings are and what resources there are for academic and career aspirations for kids with disability. There'll be accessible sport showcased to highlight the power, as I said, of physical activity. And we'll be teaching them how to use their voice. So whether it's being an advocate or an influencer, we will have that as a workshop. So the summit's going to be helping them to build a toolkit. So once they've had their dream, which is amazing and life changing, they're still part of the Shine family, and we want to give them an opportunity to kind of project further. And it's going to be able to build a toolkit that can foster that sense of community. It's going to inspire hope, and it's going to be giving them a tangible direction as to how to pursue their goals further. So it's kind of what we like to say, it's where potential meets possibility for our kids. And that's August of 2026.
Okay, perfect. I knew it was summertime. Just a
Yeah.
little bit of
Yeah.
time
Just
here,
next
a
summer.
little time to get
And
prepped and registered for this one. Um,
the big thing with Summit too, Grant, is that we're bringing them together, and we're still giving them independence. They're coming in with one caregiver, but the caregivers are going to have their own stream. So we're giving moms and dads and whoever's coming, we're giving them kind of PPE for their mind, and we're giving them an opportunity to also build that toolkit of how to build your support system, where to find funding. We're going to teach them about how to have those conversations about mental health, how to deal with vicarious trauma. So moms and dads are going to have their own workshop stream while the dreamers are getting that independence, but having one caregiver close by.
for people with disabilities as well as those support workers, those caregivers, just being able to get together with the community and make connections and network is just going to be huge. Can you talk a little bit about the power of just just networking and community.
Yeah, I'm gonna give an example. My best the reason why we decided to do Summit was I had this experience. And so I was out in at a dream on the West Coast, and he was a mountain biker, a competitive mountain biker. He had an accident and became a quadriplegic. So we gave him his bowhead for his dream a year post becoming a quadriplegic. And having a conversation with him, I was like, "What's next?" And he's like, nothing. I don't know what, like,
Mm.
look at me. And I was like, but I am looking at you. I see you. And he was like, well, I can't go to school. I was supposed to go. But now I was like, yes, you can. And he's like, well, I can't get a job. I was like, but yes, you can. He's like, he just kept saying, like, look at me. And I'm like, I am looking at you. So we have on our board Taylor, and Taylor is a quadriplegic as well. So very similar to Avon. And so I connected them when I got home, and the conversation they had was beautiful. And since then, his whole world opened up because somebody who truly 100% gets him
Mm.
told him, this is what I did, and gave him the tools to be able to push forward.
Avon is going to be able to go away to school, and he is going to be living on his own, and he has a job, and he just has all these opportunities open up from him because he believed in himself from a conversation with Taylor, because they have the exact same lived experience. And the coolest part is I'm going to be seeing him again because he's competing soon on his bowhead. So again, here's a kid who 2 years ago became a quadriplegic. Last year he got his dream, and now this year he is competing in the sport that he loved before. So the world just opened up for Avon in believing in himself, but having that conversation with someone who is a mentor, telling him, I have the same lived experience, you can do it too. Again, it comes down to they don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's out there. So we want to put that in front of them to say, this is the kind of, we want to also, one of the things we're talking about is not just the 9 to 5 job. We want to talk to them
Mhm.
about being an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's one of the workshops is a job does not have to be what you think it is. You can still make a career and a future in something that you love to do. So we will have 2 of our dreamers who are entrepreneurs talk through that. So it's really just giving them the opportunity to understand how to write a resume, what to put on it, what can you ask for, what is it okay to ask for from an employer that you have the right to ask. So it's just really giving them the opportunity to know what's out there, what they can do, and what they can ask for.
It sounds absolutely incredible, and hopefully, people. This is something you would need to register for.
No,
Would you?
it's just for our dreamers for this year. I mean, this is our first year. In the future, we'd love to be able to open it up, but this first year we have such a big group that it'll just be for our dreamers this year. But we are
Uh,
looking for supporters to help us out if they can.
that's fantastic. How can people keep up to date with what's happening at Shine Foundation?
Yeah, they can come on to shinefoundation.ca. Everything's on there. We have a link to the summit. We have a link to Come to Slay. They can follow us on all of our socials too. We've got Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just follow along and see the amazing stuff that we do.
I think one thing is pretty clear that the next year or so and beyond with Shine Foundation are going to be incredibly exciting.
Yes.
Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us today on The Pulse.
Thanks, Grant. It's always fun talking to you.
The Pulse airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on AMI Audio, repeating every 6 hours. You can also catch The Pulse on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Grant Hardy. Thanks so much for listening.